Y'all know how y'all do. The hood got questions.
The hood got questions.
The hood. So the hood is in the house. Shout out to the hood being in the house. Shout out to our special guest to my right here, and we're gonna start all the way down. I'll give you guys an opportunity to state your name and you know, a little bit about yourself and what you do, and we can go from there, gentlemen. Thank you. And we can start to my immediate right here.
Sheldon Jones, City Commissioner at Large in Palmetto. Born and raised all my life, military guy, and I'm just coming back to the community, and hopefully I can make an impact on what we need to do in the city of Palmetto.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Welcome, man.
Welcome, man. Appreciate your time.
He clean too now.
He doubled down.
That boy.
But that boy got wood grain.
I'm talking about the brother.
Hey.
That boy got wood
Hey.
grain.
B.
Agree. Hey.
The brother clean without a jacket.
Or a tie.
What?
Okay. That's Mr. Sheldon.
I'm just glad he ain't bring that Cowboys cup. But go ahead. Next.
Good evening, everybody. Robert Powell. I'm the president of the Manatee County NAACP. I wasn't born here, but I was raised here. You know me, everybody knows me as coach, you know, community man, you name it, I'm involved in it, you know, love all these guys, grew up with these guys, so just an honor to be here, man.
Appreciate having you.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think you finna hit him what I was
Whoa,
gonna hit him.
whoa.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I've been knowing Bert
Yeah.
practically all my life.
Yeah. When
My college roommate.
yeah, you finna go back
Okay.
to you finna hit on that talking about he wasn't born here. Well,
Boy, you already.
Cause I was gonna hit on that too, Green.
Bert.
You were born there, Bert.
Well, I can call him Bert, because this truth be told.
Yeah, Bert.
I know.
I thought you were finna hit it with the
community might know
yee.
Almond Joy. Almond Joy.
That's his line name, fraternity name. I'm gonna go in and say, you. Hey, hold up, Bert.
Okay.
I mean, you wasn't born here. Where you born at? I ain't know that, man. I've been knowing Bert all my life.
Yes, sir.
You wasn't. Where you was born, Bert?
I was born in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, I did not know that.
Well, hold on, Bert. Were you born there and then the next day your parents came to Manatee County?
Pretty much close to it.
Well, you from here, Bert. You from here.
It was close to it.
Oh,
You know,
Bert, come on.
Hey,
I thought Bert came out here when he was about 13 or 12, 15.
No.
Bert came down here 13 hours later.
13 hours later.
Hey,
He
basically,
ain't from,
Showed up to 13 Ave.
he ain't from here. He was from Manatee
On
County,
Friday the
man.
13th.
Wait, what? He was from Manatee County.
Told 13 lies
They
already.
done switch your birth. They done switch your birth certificate
tell you,
to
man.
Manatee County birth.
I feel real bad right now. I did not know the boy was born in San Antonio.
Hey, no, Green, we not giving him that. We not giving him that. Listen, TBT Land, he was born in Manatee Memorial. He came out here 13 hours later after he was born.
wow.
Oh, man. I didn't know that either,
He
sir.
said truth be told. I'm telling the truth.
Truth be
He
told.
kept that true.
Breaking news. Breaking
He
news.
kept that true.
All right. Next up.
Welcome. First of all, appreciate y'all having me. Rick
Yes,
Wells, Sheriff of Manatee County. Listen, I wasn't born in Manatee County. I was born in Florida in the back of a pickup. Coming from Texas. I hit the county line. Hit the county line right at Bert. So, been very blessed to be around for a long time, to work with a bunch of y'all, trying to take care of the kids in our community, trying to make an impact. And I think that's really what we're all about, and just trying to do what we can to save those that need to be saved and to help those that need to be helped. And I just really am honored to be here. I appreciate it. This is a great thing you're doing.
I appreciate that. On a more selfish note, I want to thank you. I reached out to your good buddy, Lieutenant John Morrell, in regards to you guys coming out, your deputies and your agency to Lincoln to visit our kids and just kind of have a conversation and interact with them in regards to bridging the gap and letting them know, hey, man, law enforcement, you know, let's not get caught up into what's going on out there. I mean, you have family members, you know, community, you know, members that are some great individuals, both men and women in law enforcement. So I got to give Mr. Wells a shout out. Man, I made that call and without hesitation, When I say without hesitation, I mean without hesitation. It was beam, beam, boom. And the next thing you know, man, he had sheriff deputies in there, and he came himself to our intramurals at 7:30 in the morning to play volleyball with our kids.
That's great, man.
That's big.
What's
That's
up?
big.
That's big.
Because I needed to bring the athletes because we're all about community involvement.
Yes, sir.
But we are going to win. So I have to make
told
sure that the athletes.
You better.
Because
I told him our motto, the teacher motto is,
Yeah.
we don't just beat the kids, we try to lower their self-esteem.
truth be told, I told y'all don't win. Y'all all going to midnight shift. All going to midnight.
Hey, truth be told, y'all know I'm the negotiator.
Okay.
To me, when the sheriff said that, it's like he was throwing a pow, you know, like they try to win. Is that you challenging truth be told to a kickball game, sheriff?
Hey, man.
Nah, I ain't playing no
You
damn
challenge-
kickball. Say that right now. I'm gonna be there. I ain't kicking no ball, bro. I'm too old to be
What we
kicking.
gonna do?
I'll
We
be
gotta
the
have
coach.
We
paramedics
gonna
there.
get the younger kids.
Oh, the younger kids. There you go.
You know what I'm talking about?
There you go.
We could come up with something, B.
We come up with something now.
Something.
Volleyball, kickball.
Come up with something. We're gonna come up with something. That's what we here for. Yeah, that's what we here for. That's
Full
what we here
square. Do a
for.
full square.
Yes, sir.
No, I
Yes,
ain't
sir.
hopping no squares. I ain't hopping no squares.
I vote no.
We might have to play some Connect Four.
I got two no's. I got two no's for kickball. Left knee and right
That's
knee.
what I'm trying to tell you, boy. B said a kickball.
What we got next?
All right, all right. My
Nancy
man.
Bellamy, Manatee County Commissioner, Executive Director of the Palmetto Youth Center. Born and raised here. And we gave a shout out, you all gave a shout out earlier to Coach Joe Canan. Obviously, I'm a proud graduate of Manatee High, a football player. God's blessed me, I still hold records there. A basketball player, more importantly, proud graduate of Bethune-Cookman in college. Exciting opportunity for me to go to college there at HBCU, learn campus life there. I think everybody should have an opportunity to experience the HBCU college life. One thing about me, I just try to do what I can while I can. You know, I'm excited to be here. Thank you all for extending me an opportunity. And I'm proud of the things that you all are doing and trying to make a difference and having a voice in our community. Thank you for having me.
Well,
Thank
we,
you, man.
we,
Appreciate you, man.
we thank you for coming, especially when I want to give a big shout out to CEO of 13th Ave Community Center, Mr. Derek Randall, who graciously allowed us to host this event in his building. Unfortunately, he's a little under the weather, and you know, better safe than sorry, especially these time and ages. He had to decline. So with that being said, reached out to Mr. Reggie Bellamy today, and as you can see, he's here, man, without, you know, at a moment's notice. So appreciate that, Mr. Bellamy, but I'm gonna have to go left. O.
Please do.
Yes, sir.
Please
Yes,
do.
sir. That's O Bellamy.
Appreciate
And real talk, you know, put some respect on his name. I knew he was gonna find a way, especially with y'all Southeast guys bringing up that stuff.
Hey, see,
bring
I'm-
that Manatee stuff in.
Yeah,
I ain't
I'm
mad
gonna
at
get
you
to
though.
it, man. I'm
I
gonna
ain't
get
mad
to
at
it,
you,
man.
and he
about
let
to
you
get
know
to
he
it,
still
man.
hold records too. He let you know he still hold records.
Wait, hold on. One of them records, check this out. I remember when I was at UF.
Okay.
All right, I was at UF, minding my own business.
Okay.
You know, thought I was going to go check out Bethune versus UF basketball game. Didn't have any clue that I would see Mr. Bellamy on the court down there with them.
Did you see the goggles?
The goggles on.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? My mom nigga, hey.
First James Worthy, then O Bellamy.
I can't see without him. I can't see without him. Just let you know.
Hey, you supposed to rebound it too now.
Yeah, he was. I read throwing that hook one time.
Yeah.
Boy, I was like, okay. That's home team down there, baby. I was on cat that night, boy. I was cat, boy.
He lying. He wasn't no cat that night. He lying. He probably rooted for Mr. Bellamy.
Talk.
But he wanted Florida to win. He was rooting for scope 30, 40, 50 points.
Who you rooting
True
for?
Florida win.
Truth be told,
On the record.
on the record, I'm a Duke fan, die hard.
Okay.
Attend school or not.
Okay.
Duke till I die. That night, I was a cat, baby.
Let's go, Wildcat.
You tell me you was at Florida singing.
Let's go. Right now, listen, he was like, hey, Hey, he all conservative over there with his shirt and tie and everything, looking all distinguished.
Boy, Reggie
Did
over
you play
there,
that? You play that
Reggie clean now.
that Wildcat fight song on there? Oh, he gonna bust a gonna bust a move or two.
I'm getting up, and I'm celebrating. Let's go Wildcat. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
We all truth be told.
My goodness, man.
I can Google the Wildcat fight song.
Let's get it, baby.
I can Google the Wildcat fight song.
While he's googling
You was on
that, go ahead, Green.
You was on that football team at Manatee in '87.
87,
Here we
88.
go with this.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was.
Reggie, please
Quick,
don't
real
entertain.
quick,
Mr.
man.
Bellamy, please.
Real quick. Why, man? Why y'all them players, man?
What
I heard what Canan said. I want to know what you think.
Well, first of all, Canan did all the scheduling. At that time, players had no say-so on who you want to schedule, anything like that. I do need to say something about that 87, 88 team over there at Southeast with Craig Huggins, them Houston guys, T. Green. Man, that was a loaded team. And I don't know whether or not we had the ability to come up against that. To be honest with you, I think we were there. We were there.
Okay, we did.
Okay.
That truth be told.
What?
Hey, Coach Canan, you heard it from your star.
He didn't let me finish.
I was gonna say you ain't saying you.
Yeah.
Hold on,
He didn't let me finish.
okay.
He didn't let me finish. 87 was a little bit different because we had Zykotype.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Pause. But 88, my senior year, we probably been a little bit more challenged. The talent wasn't there, but I don't think Southeast, the year 87, would have had the ability to deal with what we were bringing to the table.
Hey, my Southeast
at that
Seminole.
time.
Southeast,
That's just me.
If y'all paying
Take
attention to
that.
this podcast, did y'all hear what this man just said? If y'all would schedule a flag football game,
You gonna play kickball? How you gonna play flag football, Grant?
I will find somewhere in my heart to get these knees right.
You just want that game against.
Well, I want that game, man.
After all these years.
Oh,
Green,
man.
But Green, you know what? I gotta give him credit because at least he split. He said
did.
87, 88.
he did.
You know what y'all Southeast people will do? Y'all will take both.
Yeah, we
No.
gonna take, we gonna take
No.
Yeah, but that's how they do.
Oh, yeah,
No.
we taking both.
No.
We ain't come on the field to lose.
But you
Red,
heard. But
Red,
did
what
you
gonna
hear
do,
the
Red?
name? Did you hear the name? He said before. He said Zyke.
He said Zach.
Tight.
Who
Get it to
gonna
him,
run in
B.
his
Tell him, B. Tell him.
Who gonna run in his chest?
Yeah.
Who gonna run in his
What,
chest?
a sophomore, freshman?
No, that was his senior year.
That was his senior year?
That's the year we went to the semifinals.
I respect.
A grown man.
Hey.
I respect Zach Samuel heavily. I heavily respect
Hey,
him.
Green, some
But
of
one
y'all
man
might-
ain't gonna
some
beat
of
the
y'all
whole
might have not
Southeast.
made. Some of y'all might not have made out that game.
But Southeast, boy, I don't think one man ever beat Southeast, boy.
No, we had a team. Don't get misled.
You just named one man, though.
But I'm telling you to make sure you keep him out there in front because he was probably one of the baddest football players, not just in the county,
He
but in the
was
country.
now. He was now.
Okay.
Okay.
But we had some Ed Brown, we had some GBs. We had
I'm
some-
gonna
boy,
call
we
a
had some Jesse
timeout.
Fries. We had some Tom Watsons. Boy, we had some Wayman Bowdens. We had some Doris Jacksons. We had some Dwight Suttons.
He played Cookman son, man. So
Earl Hines.
I'm getting bored.
Family Board.
This ain't that podcast.
I'm getting bored.
All right.
Back,
Let's go, y'all. Let's go, y'all.
back to the regularly scheduled program.
You.
But ladies and gentlemen, the reason we are here again, truth be told, y'all going to another level, and it's real stuff. Y'all know we tackle issues, current issues, local issues, national issues, worldwide issues if necessary. We do like to hang out, but today it's about Manatee County and what we can do as adults, as leaders, as influential as everyone is in this room. What can we do to make Manatee County a better place? Not just for us. Most of us have babies, and some of us have grandbabies, and your babies are going to have babies, and your grandbabies are going to have babies. So, if not for us, setting it up for our future generations in regards to giving them the blueprint on how to come together as a society, even if you are of a different race, creed, or color, even if you agree to disagree. But you got to know how to sit down and have a conversation.
Yeah.
And that's what we're about. And truth be told, we're going to stay true TBT to the bone, like Green say, to the bone.
To the bone, man.
And then, like I say, we'll give our panel members opportunity to address these issues, concerns, and they also can comment as well. And then when we get to that part of the show, we'll allow members of our live audience to, get a couple questions or comments in. And again, we're going to do this in a respectful and dignified manner. Now, we are some grown men up in here and women. Mm-hmm. And so with that being said, again, we can agree to disagree, but it's going to be respectful. Yeah. These gentlemen were told once again, over and over, that this is not a platform to be set up to be attacked, ridiculed, or anything like that. Again, this is just grown folks' conversation, and hopefully this is something that can propel us towards a better place to live. All right?
There you go.
So with that being said, fellas, I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to go right at Mr. Rick Wells himself. Mr. Wells, good sir. Cops killing unarmed black men is at the forefront of our country right now. And it gets a little different when it hits home. And recently, we had a couple cases. I believe it was Justin Stackhouse and Corey Mobley. And I'm not going to ask you to touch on that because I know there's legal and all that good stuff. But I'm asking, as the leader of the Manatee County Sheriffs, what are you doing personally to ensure that these type of situations don't happen again within your agency?
Well, first let me be clear that the way things don't happen is when people comply and they don't break the law and they do what's necessary. One thing that is always in the forefront for me, and this is why Manatee County is different, because we have true conversations.
Yes, sir.
Right? We talk real talk.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So if you try to harm me, I'm going to defend myself.
Absolutely.
Right? So the facts be what they are. But what I needed to do is I needed to be able to prove our facts.
Yes,
so that's why I got body cameras.
Yes, sir.
For every single deputy on that road. So there's not a dispute of the facts.
Yes, sir.
Here are the facts. Then if there's an issue, well, everyone is going to see what took place during that incident. But if you tell me you got a gun and you're going to shoot me, we're going to take care of business.
You got to.
If you try to run over me with a car, I'm going to defend myself.
Yes, sir.
Right? I mean, that's so. I'm going home.
Yes,
so, but people need to. No one's ever gotten hurt. Just when we comply, we just do what's necessary, and we just, we got 411,000 people here. 99.999% go through life every day and don't have an issue with any law enforcement at all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Absolutely.
Good answer.
So, next question is, what are some of the biggest challenges and difficulties you guys are facing at the moment regarding keeping Manatee County safe, and what can the community do to help?
First of all, I want to say how blessed we are here in Manatee County, because we have conversations and we try to do things in the community together, and we always have. So when we go back to last summer, we didn't have the violence. We didn't have any looting and all the things that we saw across this nation, because we've always done things the right way. So we communicate with people in our community, not just during times of trouble. Yes, we've tried to work on things, good and bad, through every day. The biggest problem we have in Manatee County, the Tampa Bay area, is juveniles committing violent crimes. That's the biggest issue that we have right now. We can handle. We have a lot of great people in this room that work with kids and try to keep them on the straight and narrow. This is a different pattern that I'm seeing right now. This is a different trend where they're shooting and killing each other.
Yes.
They're stealing cars and running from the police. They're breaking into cars. So what I need is I need parents to be parents. I mean, we need the family to be the family. We need my dad wasn't letting me out of the house at 3 o'clock in the morning without taking care of business. I don't think any of us in this room.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
so
sir.
Families got to start being responsible for taking care of their kids.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So,
absolutely.
You spoke a little bit about, the grand thefts and stealings and juveniles like that. Just recently, I was speaking to one of your officers, and they were or I guess Manatee County, was praised by Sarasota County for their efforts in making sure that car theft was not as rapid for this last couple months. I live in Ruskin. Every day I come down 41. I see about 7 police officer cars parked from 275 going to I-75, all the exits. I heard that was in conjunction to trying to patrol the theft maybe coming from St. Pete, Manatee County, whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the 411. St. Pete right now is out of control when it comes to juvenile crime. They're stealing cars in St. Pete, and then they're coming to Manatee County and breaking into cars in Manatee County, stealing another car in Manatee County, leaving the St. Pete stolen car here, and then going back. So what we try to do is to try to identify those stolen cars coming out of St. Pete before they come into Manatee County and start doing crime. And if nothing else, I'm gonna push them your way. I'm gonna push them in Hillsborough County. I mean, they coming into Manatee County. I'm pushing them north. If nothing else.
I was worried like, what's going on? Every morning they were set up.
We saw the trends changing. They'd be late at night, and then they would see us around, so then they would try to come at different times.
Yes,
wow.
I think Mr. Bellamy has something on that.
Well, it's a little irony on the topic of this conversation because my vehicle was stolen, and a lot of people did not know that. Someone stole my truck out of my yard on February the 15th. And I do want to commend the sheriff department and the detective that they assigned to the case. And the bottom line is you have youth, right? And they're stealing cars to steal cars because that's the information that we came back. Fortunately for me, I was able to get my vehicle back. But it's real as far as what's taking place out there as far as the grand theft. And just listening to some of my coaching friends in Pinellas County and the way the youth are describing what's really going on, it's a crime ring, to be honest with you. And like the sheriff said, they're using vehicles to steal. The vehicle that stole my vehicle, that they eventually caught on video, and they were tracking it. Well, I'm not going to go that far because that's evidence information. But well, truth be told, they were tracking on cameras on the highways and things like that. You know, that vehicle was stolen, right, and then taken back to Pinellas County. And when my vehicle was found, it was on a chase, and they went into a park in Pinellas County, and then they jumped out. We all know what that is.
Wow.
You know, that's youth probably having too much fun.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. And I did want to piggyback a little bit on what he was saying about the parents. You know, as far as my vehicle was stolen, I think between 2:30 and 3:30 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
You know, so it's a real issue. I also want to get back, if I can, and have a conversation about the cops and the violence and what is taking place here in Manatee County. I recall the George Floyd incident. And I recall probably within maybe 5 or 6 hours after that took place, I was on the phone with the sheriff and said, hey, look, how can we get in front of this? What can we do? And the conversation about body cams came up immediately. And then there was another conversation with our former county administrator, and Rick put that down, the sheriff put that down in history immediately. The money was brought forward, and then he not only took the lead for the sheriff's department, but he also took the lead for some other agencies that might need some help with, you know, the body cams. And I think that's to commend him, but I will never say that we do not have issues here in Manatee County with law enforcement as it connects to African Americans. I do think conversations like this are very important so we can strengthen our relationships, but I think all of us have a responsibility to make sure outside. One word that he said that we should all be challenged on is compliance.
Let me ask you this. Was any of that money funneled down to the city of Palmetto? I know that's the county, but was it funneled down to the city?
Let me speak on that, and I'm glad he brought that up, just bring it down. When I came aboard as the city commissioner, I sat down with Chief Tyler, and we having a struggle right now, truth be told, with the body cams. They've been buying, as he told me, piece by piece every year, because that's something that we need, body cams in our city. And I know we've been shortage of help. You know, you work down there as a chief, but we've been shortage and always going to the county or some other agencies, St. Pete or Hillsborough, whatever, because we've been low on the money as far as the pay raise. So as of now, they've got a raise. We just hired on, I think 5 got sworn in yesterday, raised their right hand, and now we only down 1 officer. And I congratulated Chief Tyler on that yesterday in the meeting. However, I said we still down 1. So I want to have all the officers, and they've jumped their pay over Bradenton right now, and that's something that that I stand for, and I want, you know, the best training, and as far as that, and we got to move forward in our city. So, but again, that's one of the questions I asked him firsthand about body cams, and I'm interested in that, and maybe. You can reach out to Chief, or I can, and say, hey, some of this money can be passed down so we can wear those, especially with the new officers that we have.
That the city of Palmetto was low on funding on
well, body cam, it costs. And,
understandable. So none of that money can be allocated from the county, or the county can't help the city of Palmetto?
Well, I can tell you what Mr. B is negotiator, that he need to be a negotiator like yourself, because like I said, I don't know to the whole formality how it went, you know, but I know he said to me every year they're doing piece by piece to get those officers body cams.
And on top of that, like, the city should be setting money aside for our law enforcement agency in the city of Palmetto, shouldn't they? Or am I?
Well,
am I wrong?
I can tell you right now, some of our money, a lot of our money come from the CRA, the Community Redevelopment Agency, and how they set things. So I'm agreeing with you, but we only, right now, our budget is only so big, and we'll get to that point there. But right now, we are in a better situation yesterday because we got 5 new officers than we were 2 days ago.
Understood. That's good.
So, and then, like I said, we got 1 more to go. So I want full compliance with all officers, all hands on deck when it comes to that.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Well, I got a hood question. I can get hood right now? We good with the hood?
It's truth be told.
I got a hood question for Sheriff Wells. The process that you go through to become a sheriff, what are the process? Because, you know, we hear in the hood, Sheriff Wick Wells became the sheriff because his dad was once the sheriff, okay? And so if you can just elaborate on what was the steps to become a sheriff. What was your steps? What was
yeah,
the
so
process?
I've been in law enforcement for 37 years. I started with the sheriff's office in 1984. When my dad got elected sheriff in '85, I left because of nepotism. I mean, you don't want to work for your daddy.
Yeah.
I don't want to work for my daddy. So I spent 21 years with the Florida Highway Patrol, and I came back to the sheriff's office when Sheriff Stubbe was elected sheriff after my dad retired. And then that's when I was appointed chief of police, about 2010. In 2015, Sheriff Stubbe needed a colonel. And I knew that's where I wanted to spend the rest of my career, is at the sheriff's office. So when he decided he was going to retire, then I ran for sheriff. You have to get elected to the position of sheriff.
Yeah.
So you can be, and anyone can run.
So I can run for sheriff?
You can run for sheriff. You do not have to be a law enforcement certified.
T Green, the guard bottom to be
yeah,
sheriff?
you can wear that shirt and that hat and everything, and you can run for
Stay
sheriff.
tuned.
Those shoes too. Bring
Sheriff
those shoes.
guard
Yeah. I mean, you could. Yeah, you don't even need a campaign shirt. Just that's all you need
So
right
in
there.
other words, you can be up in the sheriff office. You can be up in the sheriff office cutting hair.
Yeah. So all you gotta do is run, huh? You bring out those teepees.
That's it.
Yeah, you those hatchets.
I got some Indians ready, boy. I got some Indians ready, boy.
Mr. Wells, I'm glad you elaborated on that, because we have a saying here, you know, it's all about educating, uplifting, and entertaining. And you educated folks on the fight, basically put some respect on my name because I'm well qualified for that position. I did not know you did 21 years as a state trooper, so I applaud you for that.
That's when I met
I
him.
didn't-
Man, that's big time.
I met him when he
you
was
know,
in Florida.
any
I would patrol.
job involving law enforcement is dangerous, but special shout out to state troopers everywhere. So with that being said, let's stay in the field of leadership at the top. All right, I've gotten personally confirmation from black, brown individuals that you're a legit good dude, and I can attest to that personally because I've dealt with you on a personal note. But it's been brought to my attention that there seems to be, in regards to diversity and inclusion, there seems to be lack of black and brown representation at the top. So what can you elaborate on? What's the process for that selection? Is there not enough applying, this is real kind of hood, like Green said.
Yeah.
For years we've heard this good old boy system in Manatee County.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I can take an educated guess on what that means.
Yeah.
I don't know, have you heard that? Do you believe in that? Do you think, like, what is your thoughts on that? But more so if you can address the issue in regards to the diversity and inclusion, then leading up.
Yeah, my political, everybody says good old boys, but they don't know the facts. Ignorant people say good old boys.
Yes, sir.
Because they don't know.
Yes, sir.
So if you want to be a sergeant at the Manatee County Sheriff's Office, you have to take an exam. Y'all are all college.
Not me,
Man.
I dropped out.
Yeah, but you went a little bit.
I'm a drop
You
out.
did the application.
I was in special
You
class.
got in.
I was in special class.
Right?
Yes,
You
sir.
take that test, you're going to become sergeant.
Yes,
John Morrell,
Yes, sir.
he took those tests. He was a lieutenant.
Yes, sir.
You know, so
So not enough are taking it?
You know why? Because they love what so many of the African American deputies that we had throughout the years, they were in the schools. They were SROs.
Yeah, yeah.
And they did not want to leave. And they knew if they came out, every single one of them could have been a sergeant. But they were going to be on midnight shift.
Okay.
All right, so
Is that a requirement when you become a
well,
sergeant?
it's going to
Initial-
happen.
It's going
seniority,
Gotcha.
right? So those sergeants and those lieutenants have been working midnights. They're going to come down to days. So
Yes,
you
sir.
know, you're going to be working nights.
Yes, sir.
So you know, I could talk for John, and you know, we have really tried to bring up this younger generation, and you know, we're starting to get them interested in
Yes,
being
sir.
supervisors. But
Yes, sir.
and I know we got a good group that will
Yes, sir.
start to take that
Yes, sir.
approach.
Yes, sir.
But I can't blame a man for not wanting to go
Absolutely.
work midnights.
That's,
And
again,
you know what? And they were such an asset to us in those schools.
yes, sir.
There are grown men in this community that still know their SRO, Johnny Jones.
Shout out to
Johnny
Mr. Jones. Yes, sir. Mr.
Right.
Jones, that dude.
Jones.
Yes, sir.
And John Morrell.
Yep,
and-
absolutely,
John
Mr.
Morrell.
Morrell, man. Shoot.
You know, Gary Davis. I mean, there's a bunch of them.
Yep, yep.
And so,
Jenkins, Greg.
yeah,
Mr.
I
Jenkins.
just promoted the first African American female major with Yvonne Miller. She's at the jail now. And so
Shout
that
out
was
to
a great
Miss
moment
Yvonne
for
Miller.
us. So you know, she's
A former Southeast graduate. Go ahead.
Hey, man, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you.
you know, but she definitely she's been at the jail for her entire career. She's been instrumental helping me with programs as we try to reduce recidivism, as we try to help people that are incarcerated. So
Yes, sir.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm gonna
And,
I'm gonna leave you with a on the record question. You know, you mentioned earlier about the youth and the crime. We need the crime to go down. I'm old school too. I think they need, as if they don't have a lot, but I think things to do will help out. So I remember back in the day, we used to meet up at Lincoln Park, was known as Chunky Sundays. Just to give you an example.
Yes,
So I'm going to go on the record,
Chunky.
and I'm
You
just
need
going to
it
say,
back.
hey, at some point in time, truth be told, and I and some of our partners in the community, we're going to put some things together just for the community, just to have that bum to my left right there. He swear he can grill. So, you know, one of these days, we just gonna, you know, we want to, you know, have an event, whether it's at the beach, whether it's at Lincoln Blackstone Park,
going by the beach,
whether
man.
it's just giving them something to do, a flag football game in the community, a softball
Absolutely.
game. So we may need a couple deputies
Well, you know, we're there.
swing by every now and then.
I don't know. Hey, we don't need to swing by, but we can participate as well.
Uh-oh.
I don't always want to be, we're just swinging by because we may need security.
Okay.
And see,
We
and
need to be a part of
and
it.
that was going to be my question for you,
Yeah.
Sheriff. I was going to ask you, what
that.
is it?
I
what
like
what
that.
can we do in the community, and what can you all do at the Sheriff Department to basically bridge that gap? And we have a great relationship. I know you're not going to get everybody on board, but if you can see the majority of us, or like, I'm sure if they see T Green, Real, you know, Mr. Jones, Mr. Bellamy, Mr. Powell, you know, all us, you know, we working together, and they see us working with you all. What can we do to just bring the community? Hey, man, we not out here to hurt y'all. We not out here to put y'all in jail. But if you do something, you going to jail. But what can we do to just bring us together?
We're getting so big, it's getting so difficult to touch people the way we used to. I really think that with the kids, we got to start around the sports organizations, because you already got them in a group setting. I mean, and Mr. Powell may have better ideas, but I mean, if you want to get more bang for your buck, every time you're around a group of kids that are playing sports, you've got a good representation of the community, right? So, but it's hard to go. We have SROs in schools; they're doing a good job, but we have to get out more in the community. And I really don't know. There may be a better answer. But when I look at sports, we've all been involved in sports. You're already touching kids anyway.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm the vice president of the Department of Pride. Anytime you want to come out and be involved with the Department of Pride, more than welcome.
Absolutely.
More than welcome.
Okay. I think that's where we
I
start.
encourage you to come out. And
Okay.
if we need to have just set aside a night, and you all come out, I'm all for that.
Well,
That's a great invite.
two things before we flip it to Godbar, because I think he's got some questions for
I think Mr. Powell,
El
Mr.
Presidente.
Jones has something on that also.
Okay, two things real quick. I'm not gonna sit up and act like when you said good dude, you said Godbar was a good dude, you said Davis a good dude. You skipped over me and you said he's a good dude, and then you said he's a good dude. I'm just gonna say that. And then
No,
on
you
top of
talking
that,
about me? You
what I'm
talking
not
about
gonna no, I'm talking about
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
yeah. And then
You already
now
know.
what you need to do
I
is
apologize, Experience.
Okay,
So I'm gonna start
we
over.
good.
Star Barber, Real, and the Experience.
that's not
Mr.
sincere,
Jones,
but that's another
Mr.
show.
Powell, Mr. Bellamy.
And also, I pay attention.
Yes, sir.
Sheriff Wells, he low key keeps saying he want to participate on. No, act like he ain't looking like a wheel linebacker over there, looking like he in pretty good shape. And you know those officers, you know they have to stay in training now. So I don't know. Be careful what you ask for.
You know I'm getting old, man. Hey, I ain't trying to whip nobody. I'm just trying to hang on to backup gets there.
Jones, you have something?
Yes, on you talking about with the community, right? One thing, and I don't have all the answers, but one thing I did talk to Chief Tyler in the city of Palmetto, and he was saying where, you know, they come down to the station, and I said, no, I don't think that's a good idea. The station need to come down and down there in the city and have a meeting with leaders and group leaders. So I'm still going to reach out to certain people in the city of Palmetto, what leaders are. So, and I think it's more so have a few town hall meetings during a year, 2 or 3 a year, and whatever issues or whatever situation they have, they can be able to talk to Chief Tyler or whoever the officers in that area. Because I believe in, you know, if you put a cop car here, that's where his shift at. You put one there, that's where his shift. And if he does that over and over again, those people in that community probably will get to know that officer a lot better, and they'll get treated a lot nicer, and they'll know who those parents are, who their fathers are, everything in that community, what they're doing in that central, that location.
Mr. Jones, because I tell the truth be told, guys, all the time. You always hear about, you know, even, you know, coaches in high school, or now we're talking about elected officials. You're on the west side of the tracks. Come on the east side of the tracks. Get in the community. Get to know us. You know, get to know the people in the community. Stop staying on the west side. We know y'all on the west side. Stop asking us to come to you all the time. Come in the community and let us see you. Let us, you know, talk to us. We human. You know, and I feel like that's how we can really start to bridge that gap.
Because I feel like once you have an officer or two officers, you know where that shift is at, and they get to knowing that community, though whoever, I'm not gonna say a snitch or whatever the case may be, is they would start the officer will fill them, they'll fill the officer, and then now you start getting people say, hey, that person down there did this here. And it'll cut down, it'll cut down some of that robbing, stealing, crimes in their particular area. So he did tell me I started reaching out to whoever community leaders in the city of Palmetto on the east side of 8th Avenue. Pretty much that's where a lot of crime is at. And we reach out, and then we'll try to start setting things up like that. So that's one of the things I talk to the chief about.
And that invite is to any of you on the panel. Palmetto Pride, love to have you out.
Well, I got a question for the NAACP president. My former college roommate.
From Texas.
Yes, sir.
San Antonio, Texas.
Yes, sir.
Man, you know, I mean, looking at the panel right here, you got 4 leaders in our community. Okay, 3 out of 4 is a paid job. And I'm not saying just because they get paid, that's why they're doing what they do. But your job is not a paid job. So to me, that's a lot of respect. And that speaks a lot of volume, man, because you're taking a lot of time out to tackle some of these subjects that's going on in our community. So, Bert, can you, I'm sorry. I know you, truth be told, I said, Bert. But President from San Antonio, Texas, what is your vision, man? What is your vision for this community, man?
Well, when I took the position and I said I wanted to run, my main thing was uniting the community. I seen a need, and just thinking about how we grew up, and we were closer. We were close knit. Things were different. Growing up myself, I see my dad like get involved with some community issues and things like that. He was always downtown and stuff like that. Wasn't scared to go down and get involved in things. And I guess that's why I started getting involved. It's not about me. Like you said, it's about the community. It's about having a place for our kids to grow up and things like that. And that's why I think that it's just a passion of mine, just to want to make sure that kind of stuff happens. I was sitting here thinking about when you just addressed the sheriff about our relationship with the black community in law enforcement is strained. It's a real strain, you know, with all the things that happen. You know, we have had our own George Floyds and stuff like that. But one thing I can say about the sheriff is we have a line of communication, and I definitely respect him a lot. And we know we're going to have some difficult conversations. You know, he's not going to like some of the stuff that I might bring to him or say to him, and you know, say vice versa. But we had a relationship where we're able to sit down. You know, we maybe agree to disagree, but we can try to figure out a way to move forward, and figure out, you know, what we can do to make things better. What we can do to make, you know, our black kids not, you know, they don't like the police. You know what I'm saying? They see the sheriff, they're like, oh, they go 12. You know, they don't do, you know, police. So what can we do to make? And we got some grown folks like that. You know, we got some grown folks that have, you know, their own views about him. They don't even know him, but just because he's, you know, the sheriff, they feel. But I'm glad to be able to have that relationship. I can, you know, I can text him, I can call him, you know, whatever, and he hit me right back, you know, and vice versa. And I feel that that's important for our community to grow, because we, you know, some things may happen, and it'll be, you know, my job say, hey, look, Rick, my community not happy. Officer did this, and this, and then he will take it, you know, investigating and things like that. And he might come back and say, okay, well, this is why my officer did, and then I can bring it back to and we can go back and forth until we can get to a happy medium, or maybe set up a meeting to where we can discuss some of these issues and things like that. But as far as myself, man, it really is not about the money. You know, you got to genuinely care about people, you know, especially to do this position and stuff like that. And I feel like it's important, and I'm grateful to be in that position, to be able to be that voice, for our community and to be able to have conversations with, these guys and things like that to represent our community. So I don't look at it as, sometimes I'm like, man, it's a lot. It definitely is a lot. And when T. Greens did say that, you're not getting paid for it, sometimes that does, like, man, when you up, late at night, and you got to get up and go to your regular job, and you like, I'm still shooting out emails, or I'm still reading things that's coming down the pike, and I'm like, or something is happening, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be bad, and I'm like, I got to start making some phone calls, or, I might even have to say, hey, Rick, this is coming, this may affect us, let's get ahead of this, but to be able to have that, that relationship with him, and like I said, it's tough. It's tough at times. It's tough at times, definitely. But I'm glad that we're able to talk.
So you said they call me 12?
Yeah, they call you 12.
Like 1 out of 12.
Yeah,
I love that show though.
One
That's
time.
show. I watch it every day.
1
5
time.
to 6.
5-0.
I love 1 out of see the man.
Po-po.
1 out of 12 see the
y'all
man.
give him the code.
Them boys. Here come them boys.
Oh, the hood man, that's all right.
Hey, they were straight back in those days too. They were like
give him the
hardcore.
code.
And I think that if our youth start seeing people like yourself and us and people in the studio audience come up to Mr. Wells or any of the other deputies, hey, how you doing? What's up? I'm one that's privileged to have Mr. Wells in my phone also, and anytime I've called him, he pick right up. B, what's up? So I think if the youth start seeing that relationship between us and them, I think that'll start bridging that gap also.
That's the example, man. That's what's up. That's why
and
we here.
and it's not just
Absolutely.
it's us men. It's us black men too.
Right.
So they can see us interacting,
Right.
rather than always seeing like his boys rolling up and one of us take out running, but to be able to him roll up and be like, oh, hey, what's going on, man? That's different.
Right.
That's
That's
not
when
what
I
they.
see him at a game or something. Hey,
Yeah, that's not what
Wells,
they.
how you doing, sir?
That's not what they
Sheriff,
used.
how you doing?
That's not what they used to seeing.
right. They're not used to seeing that.
So
We got to show them. We got to
definitely.
show them better. That's why we here. We got to show them better. Ms. God Barber, you done with El Presidente, or you got more for him?
I'm done with El Presidente.
All right.
But
I have a question. When we talk about the NAACP and when we come to you, what type of resources are available for anybody that may call you with a problem? Is it just you? Is it someone else that you can rely on, or do you have a team of people?
Right. Definitely. I have different committees that handle different things. Like if a problem comes in, I'm going to send it to my legal redress people, and they have a whole committee that they're going to sit down. They're going to break it down. They're going to make phone calls and stuff like that or whatever. And they do all of the behind the scenes work, and I get involved, here and there. But a lot of times they're doing a lot of the leg work and things like that. I have a lot of people that's retired, I guess you could say. So during the day, they might be doing record requests and things like that, or making phone calls or touching base with people to make sure that we jump on the. So it's a whole process, but I do have different people on the committees that work this and help out, and that's why I'm always trying to get other people, involved and because it's a nonstop thing. It's a nonstop. It's not, we still have a lot of issues going on. Like you said. People talk about the diversity, and the different things. So we have people working on, finding out stuff about that, not just with him with the county and not with the sheriff department, police departments, things like that and everything. So it's good to have a good team, and I have a pretty solid, team of people behind me, and that's always.
So outside of that, outside of your team, as far as the community, I'm pretty sure that you can use some help.
Always.
I'm pretty sure of that.
Always.
So if someone wanted to be a part of the NAACP, how could they do that? Is there a way that you apply for it? Is it is it anything?
It's a website, NAACP.org. They can go on and pay a $30 membership fee, and you're a member. And all I need to know is you paid your fee, and you can come jump right in to whatever we got going on. Membership has increased, and people are starting to get more involved. Right now, a lot of people see when people don't see you out doing a lot of stuff, you know, they think, oh, they're not doing anything. NAACP nationally still has us under COVID restrictions, so we can't really maybe get out and do a lot of the stuff that we've seen them do before, but we're still able to handle, you know, certain things and things like that. I know people look at us like when stuff go down, they want us to jump out and like march and protest and stuff like that, but it's NAACP has procedures that we have to go through, and we just can't. I can't just go out there and say, okay, we're gonna shut down the highway, we're gonna march, and then no, I have to go through. Except I have to contact, you know, people that's over me, and let them know this is what we're trying to do, and they let me know, hey, this is what you can do, you know, or if any legal things that, you know, they have lawyers and stuff like that will contact you and say, hey, no, you can't do that.
I'm glad you said that because a lot of people, you know, when you think about NAACP, well, some people that may not be so hip and know much about it. We hear it, but we don't know much about it. But we always can associate, hey, we're going to go down and march. That's the first thing we want to do is go down and march, but that's not necessarily the first thing that you can do as a president. There's a protocol that you have to follow in order to do certain things and probably get approval to do it.
Definitely. And they sometimes they may say, you can't do that, and that's where I have to leave it at. Sometimes they may tell us, if you're contacted by the press, this is what you can say, this is what you can't say. They do that, you know, they do that all the time, or they watch yourself on, you know, if they see you do an interview, they might say, hey, you know, stay away from that question, or don't do that, or something like that. But, you know, they want to make sure that, you know, you represent the
Yeah. Speaking of an interview, you were on CNN.
Let me tell you about the CNN interview. That was that CNN interview was that was like my second week or first week, actually, after I just got elected. Got contacted by CNN that they wanted to interview me, you know, in reference to the vaccine situation and so I was like, okay.
That was a phone call?
They called me on the phone first. They called me on the phone. They said the CNN. I'm like, you know, me not knowing, thinking that it's that, you know, I'm like, I'm fresh in, like CNN. Yeah, okay. It's local CNN.
Could have been God Bobble.
It ain't really.
Could have been God
You know,
Bobble.
you know, I'm thinking like
God Bobble playing around.
I'm like,
don't play like that.
This is local.
And TNT calling you, hey, this CNN from TNT.
Yeah. So what happened was I knew it was kind of serious because they said, well, we're going to give you something to log on to, and so I logged in, and I'm looking at like a blank screen, and then the split screen came up, and it's like it was black over here, and then I could see myself. So I'm like, well, okay, and I hear people talking in the background. I hear a lady like she's on, like the lady from there. I'm like, okay, I hear a lady back there in the background talking. I'm like, this is interesting. And I hear people telling me, hey, Mr. Powell, could you move over? You know, I'm like, okay, I'm moving over. And like, could you adjust the lighting in the back? And I'm like, okay, you want me to cut light? So I'm like, and I hear the lady say, coming up next, we're going to Manatee County. And I was like, coming up next? So now I'm like, I'm really nervous now because I'm like, oh Lord, I ain't talking to nobody. I don't even know what I put because I'm thinking to myself.
Oh Lord, I got to tell these people I'm really from San Antonio.
Exactly.
Oh,
really exactly.
New York City.
Oh man.
But it was kind of crazy because I'm thinking in my mind, it's like, don't say nothing to get yourself in trouble. And I'm like, and the lady first thing out the box, she asked me a question about the governor, and I'm like, the governor probably watch. I can't say that. So I'm like, okay, be careful. But I can't see her, but I can hear what she's saying. So I don't even know, and I'm like, man, and I didn't even realize it was live until I got done and signed off, and then the phone started ringing. My brother from Maryland called me and said, boy, I just seen you on TV. And I'm like, you see me on TV? He say, yeah, you just, and then people started calling from everywhere. And I'm like, Lord, I'm like, and I'm going back in my mind, did I say anything wrong? Did I say, just going back, but it was an experience, like I said, it's an experience, and I found out I handled myself pretty good and not saying anything to get
And
myself
that
in
was
trouble.
regarding, what was that the interview regarding?
That was about the vaccinations, and when the commissioner had the vaccines out in a certain area, and we weren't allowed to go out there to.
What you mean, certain area?
She took.
Truth be told.
Truth be told.
Yeah.
She took the vaccines and had the vaccines out in the Lakewood Ranch area,
Okay.
and if you wasn't living in that area, you wasn't allowed to go out and get
Who
the
is she?
vaccine. Commissioner Barr. So that was.
Now, how did you get that call for that case? Like you say, you 2 weeks in the game, so how did that?
Well, it was a hot.
It was
topic.
already
So
on the table.
who they wanted to call, but the person that's supposedly quote unquote the leader of the black community, because that's where it affected us the most, you know.
Right.
And it's like, call me, and it's like, so I'm like, okay, and I'm trying to figure out, and I'm thinking, I'm hearing some of the stuff that the governor had said, and I'm like kind of heated because, you know, he's like saying, well, if they don't want the vaccines, we'll, you know, take them somewhere else. And like, no, we don't, you know, not like that. We just saying, if you're gonna bring them here, let everybody have access to them. I don't care about them being out there.
Right.
But if we are able to go out there, let us go out there. But they said if you're not living in that zip code, you can't go out there. And that was like a problem. So
Absolutely.
Well, big ups to you. Big ups to you, El Presidente.
I kind of want to stay on that topic, but we'll move forward. Mr. Jones, and if you don't mind too, Mr. Bellamy, you can also answer this question. What is your political agenda, and what have you done thus far to attack your agenda?
Let me say this here. 7 months in, I'm still on task with my agenda. And even though I still have to raise some heck that'll be coming up, but like I said, one of my agendas is already done until we fill one more officer. Another one is housing authority. Another one is get us a fairly half of Bradenton downtown so we can have youth can have some type of nightlife, as we say, millennials, and that's the future things that I want to do. But when I speak in the housing authority, it's not like it was back in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Okay, we have it, but we're just out of compliance. The city is, and the only one person that can change that is the mayor. That since 2012 we haven't had a meeting in selecting the board, which we have one, but they're just out of term limit. So that's something I need to attack because I believe in building our economic development in our city, wealth, creating our own wealth in the city, and that past 8th Avenue, as I speak when I say housing authority, certain areas, Old Bel Air, okay? We know how that place looks.
Oh, man.
LP Thomas, we know how that looks. So if we can build that and take that stigma away from the Palmer Ghetto, that's where they kind of create that atmosphere around from that point there. If we can change that and we can build that up as far as how, because there's a lot of money out there, you know, and give people a better quality of life, you know, central air and heat. and I just believe we can, if we start with that, which I'll be bringing that back up again because I just don't think that we the only one in the temporary area, region that don't have one, that doesn't have one in the cities. So I believe we start there coming up, and we also have, like I said, downtown, give us a few things, like I say, downtown Bradenton has, better restaurants. You know, we still, instead of these gas station that goes up and down here and corner stores, right. I mean, at some point, we're going to have to stop that. We can't have 6 gas stations almost within a mile or 2 of each other, right. Okay, unless it's a gas shortage. But those serious things that we need to do, I get a lot of phone calls, and we need to move the city forward, and a lot of things has to change. You know, we have people that have been there, some smart people on there, but it's time. You know, time is changing, and people want more to do in the city. You know, I know you see that big giant seahorse that's coming across there, but there's more to it than that. I mean, we working with the county over there, Mr. Bellamy, with the trails. So a lot of that's you're not going to see it now, but it's starting to take part in the city trying to do what they can now. Is a few, Connor Park, they'll be coming through the trails and it's a long process with that, and he knows he's been there before me, so he knows more about that trails. But coming down through Regatta, you know, hopefully we can get a parking garage, we can build something there, apartments on top, and coming down through 10th Avenue, we can get some restaurants and rebuild that area right there, the laundromat, and rebuild that area right there. Like I said, we don't need a whole lot. We just need something so we can see some lights and come over there and look over there at Braden and say, we have something too. Right. So those kind of things I want to help change. I'm still on task with that, you know, within 7 months that I've been there. And hopefully we got something coming up behind. I didn't bring that up part of what I want to do at first, but as I go along, I still see needs for other things. You know, Martin Luther King behind the youth center. We're finally going to get some restrooms over there. You know, a potty, porta, whatever they call those things behind that. And you know, we can't keep putting things off by the library to 10th Avenue on that part and putting our money, because it's CRA, and a lot of that part should be with those in that community for 13th, 14th, and so forth. So I want to bring a building over there. We need a playground over there, because kids are passing in and out of there all the time. And so those kind of things that we need to change up, spread the money around a little better than we have, and I still continue to push forward with that, and just keep my eyes open and my ears kind of tight with me, and because I get a lot of phone calls on different, because we got a lot of things going on in the city right now. Okay. But again, the question was, I'm still on task for what I want to do, and like I said, I'm at large, so I get calls from the west side, the east side, the north, whatever it is, whatever they need, because I'm that people's guy that I like to be, to help everyone out. And you can't fix everything, but you can listen to them. Mm-hmm. So I'll continue to build on that as I go.
Now, you say housing authority. I'm kind of smart, and I've heard it for some years. Is that when you take an area like you say Bel Air and you rebuild it, so to speak? Kind of like, is an example, I was traveling down Martin Luther King to get here, and I noticed by Cummins Mini Mart, Lincoln Village, that area, and they look nice.
Yeah, they build
like,
hey,
they look nice.
They building those, with those contractors are building those just like almost a normal, nice place you can live in, and that's how they're building those now.
Is that as an example?
So
of
that's
housing?
That's housing.
Yes,
that's housing.
yes,
That's what,
yes,
so that's what you're
yes.
saying. That's the vision you have for the ballet.
Yes,
and the LP Thomas department.
Yes, and that will help us, you know, build some of our money up, and you know, tax revenue, and building that coming up in the city.
Change the look.
Yes, change the look. Yeah. You know, I even raised a question coming out 8th. You know, people get tired of looking at coming out 8th and different this broken windows and so forth, because a lot of that traffic is, you know, it's coming from 75 or 75, and when they can't get across the bridge,
Business 41,
41 bridge, and they coming through that way, and they see things, and that's what their mindset. And a lot of people just passing through, heading to St. Pete or heading to Brandon, Ruskin.
Like
Ruskin, and it's just coming through. Right. So we need a better look.
That's a good point, because you know,
still got them old
they will judge you.
Yes.
We'll judge you based on how many times y'all done been through a little time. Like,
But that sounds great, and it will be wonderful for the city if that was happen. But money has to come from somewhere. So in order to do that, Palmetto, the city of Palmetto, how will the city of Palmetto raise those funds in order to do such a big project like that?
Again, housing authority will build itself up. It's money out there, Mr. Bellamy, right? It's grant money. But first building that is grant money out there. But you got to appoint someone. They handle that part. Commissioners don't even have anything really. Once we appoint those, what's the mayor and us appoint the people that want to be on the board, and then the chairman, and they appoint someone to actually run it. That is money out there. I'm on the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council, and they giving tons of money, you know, for housing. They gave about $40 million in Tampa recently to their old neighborhoods and rebuild theirs.
So how does the city of Palmetto tap into that? to get those funds? Is it someone?
We already have it, but we have to appoint a board. We out of compliance. They out of term limits, and we only had one meeting since 2012.
Wow.
So we need to. Well, myself, I'm trying to tap into it. There's some conversations about it, and we got these other projects going on. So, but that's where that money comes from. You got a lot of grant money, and people give you money for the housing authority. But that helps. That's the starting help build up our economy in the city.
Well. So I don't mean to interrupt, but either Mr. Bellamy got a bad case of gas,
I was just about to tackle Mr. Bellamy.
or he has a comment on the recent topic. Yes, sir.
Well, the city of Palmetto and that municipality has its own revenue sources and things like that, and how they deal with their budget. You know, that's between the commissioners and obviously the mayor. But I will say this, and it's kind of a holistic approach. In any vision, and I commend you on your vision, you know, there's processes, there's protocols, and there's steps that have to take place. And I'm not necessarily sure who owns Bel Air. I'm not necessarily sure who owns LP Thomas owns LP Thomas, and the thoughts on how to take and move all that in the direction of Commissioner Jones' vision. So when I'm just listening to that, and my thought, hey, that's going to be a lot of money to tear down and to rebuild, right? And there are grants out there for that, but that process and that procedures that go through the city of Palmetto and their municipalities as far as how they do things. So as a county commissioner, I don't think I need to talk on that as much. I do want to touch on what the NAACP president stated about the vaccine. I was very, very disappointed. That's probably one of the most disappointing things I've experienced as a commissioner, and I spoke out on it immediately. And truth be told, I was the one that asked for the chairman to step down as the chairman, and I was furious about that. That has created a lot of dissent in our community, and it has created a lot of unfortunate statements back and forth to commissioners and constituents. And a lot of times, one of the things that I said, leaders just don't lead that way. So that was my position on that. If I can address your comment as far as the statements, as far as what I ran on and what had taken place, I actually had a platform on public safety, mitigating traffic concerns, and developing economic growth in the county. I'll start economic growth first because, truth be told, that's the one I've been least successful with. And we were in a point where we were going to start doing some hiring from the county perspective and create jobs, and a job fair from the county perspective. Then COVID hit, and it kind of set us back. So I think there's some more opportunity out there for that. However, on October the 14th, we will have a job fair, not county related, it's the Port Authority related. And it's going to be identifying a lot of jobs that are available out at the port. And unfortunately for us, when we think about the port, we think about Port Manatee as far as the Wells Motel. But we don't want to look at it from that perspective. We want to know that at Port Authority, as far as where the shipping comes in, there's a lot of opportunity for jobs out there. So economic development, I've done decent on that. Traffic mitigations, a lot of that was about the flow of the bridge and the flyover, but I focus on how we can change traffic situations here. We got the Detweiler light that we put up that had caused some issues. We challenged Vietnam a little bit, which is on the corner of 23rd and 41. We know it's speedy. Where we had a loved one of yours to actually lose their life. We went back and we got more lighting in that area, and we got a left turn signal when you're headed south. Another area is now you can see the work coming down 2nd Avenue where we get ready to put sidewalks. Again, that's a public safety issue. Another public safety issue is when the sheriff and I collaborated, more his lead, as far as getting the body cams to make sure that not only the public is safe, but we can know the truth be told when there's an unfortunate situation that takes place when it comes to law enforcement. So where I am right now, we want to continue to build on that. Well, I did have the Memphis lighting project where we got lights, right from the Jackson Park area all the way to to 41, and now we're getting ready to transition into the Washington Park area, which is where we coming from, where your in-laws live at, and looking at sidewalks there. The Somerset lighting project was already on the board when I arrived, but I just asked for a timeline so we can conclude that. So what we've done, we've had 2 lighting projects, right, and the sheriff supported us greatly on that, because what we want to do is we want to look at crime differently, and if you have lighting, you have less crime. That's just stats and data that's proven. The other thing, as far as the sidewalks, we have sidewalks coming on 26 headed to Cortez, because there's some elderly people that needs to take and get to Cortez, or whether or not they're shopping and things like that, and there's not a sidewalk there, so we address that. 2nd Avenue East and West, we're doing pretty good on that. You can't really say things like, what I've done. I think it's a collective approach. I give the Lincoln Pool, I give that to all the commissioners came before me, as well as the current commissioners, because everybody had to play a role to vote yes in order for it to keep moving forward. But the Lincoln Pool is something that is grateful. I'm grateful for to be a part of that. We say that's behind us, because we'll have a groundbreaking here very shortly.
How big is that pool, though?
Huh?
How big is that pool?
Well, see, and
it's
this
not
is
the same size as the one at GC Bray, though, right?
No.
It's
And
small.
see,
It's
hear me out, sir. It's three bodies of water. We went from 1 body of water to 3 bodies of water. And there's a kiddie pool. There's a competition pool for the high schools to come in and learn how to compete. And then there's a recreation pool also. So there's going to be, along with some amenities as far as chairs and the umbrellas where everybody can sit and kind of dodge the shade. You have bathrooms and training rooms, as well as a concession area there as well. So that's something that the community has been successful by. I don't really call myself a person that did all that. I think at the groundbreaking, I spoke a lot about the pronoun, and I said we need to focus on we. And currently, what's next for me is we're looking at taking the old jail facility, right, and we want to turn it into a homeless veteran site for wraparound services. I'm going to take the lead on that. That's something that I'm excited about, and continue to address the public safety concerns and the public safety issues. The proclamation was big. I did a proclamation declaring racism a health crisis, and I've collaborated with the Manatee County Health Alliance, and we're looking at data right there so we can start moving the needle in that area. But I will never take and say me, what I've done. I would never take that, because we were brought up saying it takes a village to raise a child. In order for us to get things accomplished, and in order for us to be successful, you really have to focus on building bridges instead of tearing bridges down. And it's easy to destroy somebody or easy to destroy a team if you use the word I. So what I try to do is focus on making sure when things are accomplished, say this is what we have done. Because if we've accomplished one thing, now we've become stronger, so we're going to accomplish something else. So I'm excited about that.
Commissioner Bellamy, I just want to touch on something that just kind of came up a few weeks ago, and it's concerning Lincoln Park, and not necessarily the pool. But a few weeks ago, I was resting at the house and was just scrolling through Facebook and started noticing some chatter. As I looked into it, it was brought to my attention, and I heard you say it's not an I thing, but at the same time, commissioners do propose different things. Mm-hmm. And with that proposal, I'm telling you right now, I am not aware of what exactly your proposal is, even if it came from you. Mm-hmm. But what I did hear was that Lincoln Park, there was going to be a name change, mm-hmm. and that proposal came from you. Mm-hmm. And that may have upset a lot of people that's in the community. Now, I don't know if it was because they don't know what the name is going to be changed to. I don't know if they have all the information, but can you share it with me on the Lincoln name change that's been proposed in the office?
Well, let's start it from the beginning, because the name Lincoln is very sensitive because of some of the things that have taken place in the community here recently. And I think it's very important to set the record straight. This didn't start last year or 4 or 5 months ago. This started in 2018, probably 2 or 3 weeks after I was elected. There was a group, about 10 to 15 African Americans that met with me, and some of them were a part of the Lincoln Alumni Association, and that conversation came up. It started there. And in the room when the conversation took place, nobody disagreed with it at all. And I spoke with some people initially, and most people agreed with it, right? And it doesn't matter what you do, you're gonna have people that's going to disagree. The thing that was brought forward was to change the name from Lincoln Park to Eddie Shannon's Aquatic Center. And I'm excited about that opportunity. And some people are saying, well, you're taking away from our history. And that's okay for them to interpret that. But how about adding to our African American history? Some people are saying that the reality of it is there are a lot of other people that were out there that could be identified. And I'm sure that there could be. But how about identifying individuals that have documented, validated credentials? Documented, validated credentials. There's a lot of hearsay of some great people, right? This would have never came forward if I would not have received the majority vote for the Lincoln Alumni Association. And the reason why I say it would have never came forward, because if I would not have received a majority vote for them, I would never brought it up. And when I spoke to some people, you know, and not to put anybody on the spot or anything like that, but when I spoke to some people, they say, well, if this individual agree with it, then I agree with it. Well, that individual agrees with it. Okay, well, I'm down. But then there was a shift, you know, and I don't have a problem with people changing their mind or anything like that. My position about Lincoln, right, that identifies who we are and where we come from, as far as the African American community and where we come from back when schools were segregated. Right. Eddie Shannon represents the integration and the integration and segregation. Eddie Shannon, in my mindset, and it's not just me, but I can talk on it, not only assisted us on where we're going, but assisted us in who we are, right? And what I did is listen to people, testimonies and everything like that. I put aside his 2 City of Palmetto Citizen of the Year. I put aside his 3 Omega Sci-Fi Man of the Year. I put aside the fact that he carried the Olympic torch for our community in 1996, and I listened, right? And once I received that it was a majority vote, it wasn't just me, right? But here's the thing about that, and I'm sure Commissioner Jones can speak on it. It was a resolution from Manatee County. It was a unanimous vote for us in order to ask the City of Palmetto. The City of Palmetto can't deny it, right? But it was a unanimous vote. And we even had one commissioner that Googled Eddie Shannon's name and started talking about his credentials inside the meeting. So I'm aware that there's a lot of feedback and everything like that. But any type of solid foundation, you're going to have to be able to agree to disagree and find a way to move forward. So whatever the community said, and I've heard back from people, right? But I don't want nobody to think that this is something that Reggie Bellamy started on his own. I talked to multiple people, and I did not move anything forward until I heard back from the Lincoln Alumni Association.
That's good.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate that.
I think that's important to know, man.
That is. Again, that's, you know, going back to, like you say, social media and this and that, and so to sit down and have a conversation about this is really important. So appreciate you.
Let me get one more question.
Come on, baby. Come on.
Well, I just wanted to. Well, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to ask you. I heard you say that the county had to get permission from the city. That's normal protocol policy. In 2018, that was proposed. Or
What you mean?
For the name change of the
No. In 2018, it came up in a citizens meeting.
Okay.
It came up in a citizen meeting that had about 10 to 15 African American representatives. That was the first time me with me. I had just been sworn in.
Okay.
I had just been sworn in, and then that came up.
Okay.
That came up, and everybody in that room agreed with it. But again, I did not feel like we needed to move forward until we heard from the Lincoln Alumni Association. Okay. So I think a lot, and I'm okay with whatever takes place on Facebook, because what that is to me, that's face value. And if you allow yourself to get some research and some communication, you're probably, what you just said, educate, enlighten, and what was that?
Entertain.
Entertain.
And entertain. And some of it is entertainment.
Educate,
I just want to get the timeline right. So 2018, that was brought to your attention first when you first came in.
Right.
You heard back from the alumni. When was that?
I heard back from the Alumni Association maybe 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay.
And the momentum where it started is when we celebrated Coach Shanna's 99th birthday. That's when it goes back to the board meeting before we were getting ready to do the drive-by celebration for his birthday, and that's when it came up. Because where I sit, right, timing is everything.
Right.
As far as the county commissioner, and it's quite clear the odds are against me. However, the momentum that I used was acknowledging with another one of my colleagues that we were getting ready to celebrate Coach Shanna's 99th birthday. And I had already communicated with certain individuals, and I had already heard back from the Lincoln Alumni Association, and the momentum was on the table at that time, and people were talking about it. So I feel like, hey, if I'm going to do it and find a way to push it over, now's the time. And again, the city of Palmetto is the approving authority there.
Man,
but I stand by it. I do believe in it, to be honest.
So has this been approved by the city of Palmetto?
No. He just told you it has nothing been approved yet. And where I come in on it is, it'll be truth be told. When I got a phone call about that, I immediately asked a few people names. And the president of the Lincoln Alumni was one. I reached out to him. It took him a while to get me back. I saw him one day, and I asked him, hey, did you call? Because anybody in that Lincoln Alumni who I've seen, my mom, a lot of names, this name, that name, this name, that, and I didn't get a lot of approval on that with those names. I said, Mr. Moody, did you call, you the president, did you call the people and find out? And I think he told me when Mr. Stevie had passed away. I saw him down that way about a couple of months ago, Mr. Stevie? A month ago, right? A month ago. And I asked him, I said, hey, look, Mr. Moody, you never called me back. So he said he did. And he said, majority won. I said, well, what way? And he still didn't ever give me a way, but he just said by 1 vote.
Okay.
So when I say, look, a lot of people, a lot of Lincoln alumni, because
a lot of our cities.
When I asked by the mayor about it, okay, and it brought forward to me and Mr. Smith, Commissioner, the community. We can't make that decision. Mm-hmm. The community has to make that decision. And one way, like I said, I had to reach out to Mr. Moody.
But did you say it was won by 1 vote? Because if it's a majority, whether it's 1 or half.
He told me 1 vote.
It's a majority.
He told me 1 vote. I don't know which way it went, but he told me by 1 vote.
So, but he said by 1 vote, but he didn't say.
He didn't. I don't know how many. I don't know how many. I don't know if it's 10 or 5.
He said by 1 vote, but not yay or nay.
He never gave me a yay or nay. But Mr. Moody,
well, truth be told, research department, we're gonna get on that. Get on that, fellas.
Yeah, yes.
Because I'm just saying, if it was 1 vote, it's still.
But again,
yeah,
but again, like I said, I don't know how many people he called, but I know a lot of Lincoln alumni. So I say a lot. I call the names and whoever I knew or whoever it is to find out. Are they on board with it before we have to come in and it brings back to us. So, but as of now, Reggie, it has not come to us at all yet.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. If it is a majority for a name change, does that come on you guys and on your desk and you have to vote on it at that point? Or if it's how does that work?
They've already sent it over 5-0. What is it?
They sent
6-0 vote. It was 6-0 vote. They'll be sending it to us.
Now, when you guys,
we haven't done it yet.
Right. When do you guys plan to do that?
It has to be brought by the mayor to come to out and bring to the commissioners. Once that's sent over, it hasn't come to us yet.
I'm not even sure that it has been sent over.
Yes, it has to come. Once it comes from them.
Okay. It was on the last meeting, last full meeting that we had. So I'm not necessarily sure that it was brought forward. Either way, for me, my intent was to put on the record our African-American history, regardless of who or what the interpretations are. And I'll say this, and this is what I've told people, Lincoln represents Abraham Lincoln, right? And that's one of our country's forefathers. In Manatee County, Eddie Shannon is one of the African American forefathers.
I'm happy you said that because when people, believe it or not, when you hear Lincoln, it is not always associated with Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
Believe that or not.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of youth, if you ask that question, I was one of them that did not take that association from Abraham Lincoln and know that that's really what's the name behind that. But if that comes,
no, this truth be told. This truth be told.
No, but if
I know some stuff that we're staying away from, but if you want to say it. Commissioner Bellamy, say it.
You got something to say?
Well, the reality of it, I heard from individuals that said that we're taking away from the black community, the black family named Lincoln is who owned that property.
See, that's not true.
And I say that's not true. I mean, in the 40s,
right?
In the 40s, African American owning that type of property. Don't take it the wrong way, but in Manatee County,
right?
Truth be told,
But,
not the case.
But I heard. Well, this is what and this I think this is what probably a lot of root of the problem is. Things been taken away from. They feel that things been taken away from them.
Right.
And Lincoln name, just like the high school, even though it's back, they felt it was taken away, and then they got to get it back in. That's the only thing we have left in at Lincoln Park. And its history behind it, all the way up to Washington D.C. is. When it comes to that, because it's a historical black
it is
school.
Historical, but all I'm saying is, Commissioner Jones, all I'm saying is when people think of Lincoln, right, because you're right, it is history, but we get wrapped around what I believe to happen is, like Commissioner Bellamy, they think it's a black person.
No, I don't think.
Wait. They think it's a black person. They may associate that with a black person. Mr. Eddie Shannon is a legendary person in this town, in this city.
Yes.
By fault.
Yes. That's my relative.
So for a name change, I think people just need to do just a little bit more research into what's behind that from the commissioner offices, and also a little bit of history on Lincoln itself.
But again, I understand what you're saying, but they're saying
just
they're taking away, almost taking the name off of all the people with those diplomas, say Lincoln name on there, and it's just a lot of things that's out there, and that's what they are more upset about.
And what I'm saying,
can I hold on for a minute? I know, but let me finish up, Rich.
You can't take nobody diploma away.
Yes. No, what they're saying is that's the only thing they can go back on and say, Lincoln Park, I got my diploma, and so forth. So they looking at the history name. I don't think he pointed it out. Also, aquatic center, the field, and so forth. But he wanted bigger. Whatever he talked to, or Moody, whatever. They want something bigger than his name on there. So that's what the attack is on the African American community.
Can I just clear something up?
Hold on, I'm gonna finish one more thing. And this is what they're saying. They won't go in their community and change the name. Why do I would have to come in the African American community and change the name? So that's what more they're saying and fighting back on because of that history on that.
I understand that.
I just want to make sure that it's clear that the timeline of when it started was well before the name change of the discussion of Lincoln Middle School or Lincoln Memorial Academy. That timeline is totally different. And I think what our community needs to look at is, they're connecting them, but in all due reality, they're disconnected. Because one is ran, by the school board of Manatee County, and the other one is overseen by the county, but actually the city of Palmetto is the approving authority. So I just think that timeline is very important.
Mr. Bellamy.
Mr. Jones, I had a couple questions for you, but what time we going on the record?
Go on the record.
On the record? Okay, on the record question. Why did you ask for the resignation of the mayor of Palmetto, Ms. Shirley Group?
Truth be told, I have never asked that yet.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, you said yet.
Yeah. Again, I have not asked that yet.
Okay.
Because anything can happen in the future. Tomorrow, but as of right now, I have not asked that.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So
Well,
you do have an issue with her? Because you say you haven't asked that yet. Yet mean it's coming
Well,
to the forefront.
I can tell you what. To be honest with you,
Truth be told.
you know, person been there. I ran for change.
Okay.
Okay, and it's just not the mayor. There's people been there 100 years, and I believe that if help Palmetto down as far as growth concerned, and in 30 years, 25 years, and we say in our jobs, you've been there too long. Maybe some things you can't see 10 years from now, 15 years from now. So it's in anybody's job. It's time to get some youth in. And so, with that said, since I've been there, some things that I disapprove of. But she's the mayor. She make the decision. We the commission and bring anything that's brought forward to us or on the agenda. She bring it to us. Okay. And there's a lot of things that I think we can do better. But again, when you're there for that a long time of period, your department head, she picks them. You've been there that long, 25, 30 years. I ran for change, and I stand with that.
Mr. Jones, will you run for mayor?
I still have a 3.5 a year to go as a commissioner at large.
I just want to make sure I ask that question because change comes with running, and that's an elected position.
Correct.
And she's been there for a long period of time. And I know you're just getting your feet wet in this whole thing, and I commend you for even taking that jump to do that and wanting to make a change for the city of Palmetto. But that is an elected position.
Correct.
So we or the city community is electing her. So if the community don't want her there, then we need to vote different.
Well, as of now, she got the same term limits as I have, and I always put my base on this here. You know, if God allow me or put forth in what He has a plan for me to do, then I could, or I could just say, hey, it's over. So from God to my family, and then I have a few friends that I look to, and most of all, how my constituents in the city of Palmetto and how would they feel, what change they need. And if we got the leader in there, the right person in there, like I said, never the right person, a person that a lot of the constituent respect and they want to do certain things that, you know, like I said, we elected, all of us wants a certain agenda. And if they fit my agenda, whoever it is, I'll support them. But again, I'm not going to say that yet. But God, family, and some few friends will make that decision. Again, I think at 2 term, I still work for the Postal Service. And when it come to that, come big measure, when you come to that, because now job and so forth. So,
I got
you know, a lot of things I do right now. But right now, that's not on my mind. My mind is right now is what can we do better in the city of Palmetto for everyone to have a better quality of life.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. So I have a on the record question. Is on the record from the hood.
On the record.
On the record. For the hood.
The hood got questions.
The hood got questions.
Chef Wells, since you've been in the office and attending countless of meetings in the black community, what goals have you set and reached to better the relationship between your officers and the black community?
Several events, barbecue with the sheriff in the minority areas, backpack giveaways at Pride Park, and also even in Palmetto at the youth center. Different events involving community police and deputies that I have in those areas. Juvenile citation expansion.
Can you explain that just a little bit?
So we have juvenile citations, and the goal is for juveniles that are committing misdemeanor crimes. Back in the day, that would be a misdemeanor charge. So now, in the past, they were given basically one strike. So you have give them a citation. It's not an arrest. They have a process to go through as long as they go through that process. I expanded that to 2. I want to give them 2 shots at that. I want to keep that record clean. And we started a program where we're taking some individual kids that committed felonies, and we're giving them that same shot. We're working with the state attorney. As long as the family is involved, we're putting these kids through the process too, to get that felony off that record. If you have a felony, you're not going to get a good job. Right. You're not going to get the best education. So we'll work. We just finished our first young man. He did well. He's a minority teenager here in Manatee County. He passed it with flying colors, but we had parental support as well. Right. So we had the entire judicial side with him as well. So that's going to be a process we want to continue. We want to add more to it.
And when did you start that, sir?
We don't tell a lot of people because if I fail, I don't want y'all to know.
Right.
Right?
But it sounds like you're not failing.
We just started that about 6 months ago.
Yeah, that sounds like that's a great program.
But we do believe even misdemeanors hurts a juvenile's record, right? So that's as long as they're not commit like a domestic violence or sexual assault, there's a lot of work we can do to keep that record clean.
Yeah, I just want to speak on that, and that come from the Public Safety Council, and the sheriff and the state attorney, all us, that group, we sit down and we talk about how can we, keep the public more safe. And when we brought this up, as far as the juvenile citations, with some data that supported it, the sheriff was right there as well as the state attorney. And what we want to be able to do is consistently move the needle on juvenile arrests down. That's what we want to consistently do, and extending it from 1 citation to 2 citations, and having the ability to offer other programs that we can recommend for them to be a part of or go to, so we can make sure the arrest rate goes down, especially in our black community or in the black and brown community. I think that's a positive step, and it's more to come. But I think that's been going on. We've been talking about that the last 6 to 8 months, and we're there now.
Can I add to this? Because let me tell you where we have a lot of people that talk, and they don't do squat.
Say it again.
We have a lot of people that talk about helping in the community. They don't do squat.
Time for action.
All right. So what we started doing in the jail, all right, we got people in there that made one mistake. Yeah, they got a felony. I'm talking about adults. They're in there. But we have made it a mission to surround them with a group of people to help them get out, get a driver's license, get a job, get dependent on no one but yourself. Mm-hmm. Now, that's not my problem. I'm care, custody, control. But that is my job, because we have a lot of talk. They don't do squat. No one else does anything to help these people when they get out. You understand where I'm going?
Yeah, I see what you're going. Yeah.
Okay, so we're setting this up.
That's big.
Because if we don't get them into an area where they can get a job, get a license, and have transportation, they're going to go right back to what they know.
Right.
They're not going to ever succeed. So we just need more and more people stepping up when it comes to. We have a lot of nonprofits that get grant money. I don't see them. Y'all see them? I don't see them doing a lot of the work they should be doing to help those coming out of prison, or coming out of jail.
Okay.
So what can we do?
I'm going to keep that real, right?
What can we do to get them involved and get them to, doing, Sheriff?
Listen, I
he can't answer that question.
I can tell you what, Miss Shirley Pearson at Mount Carmel Resource Center.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
I would give her money anytime I could. She's helping.
Tracy
She's inside
Jenkins
that
is helping.
jail. Right? She's inside that jail. I have people that were convicted and got out and made something of themselves in that jail helping out. So, I mean, people are stepping up, but we always use more.
And who was that name again you said?
Miss Shirley Pearson.
Shirley Pearson.
Tracy
Shout out
Jenkins.
to you.
And Tracy Jenkins, yeah.
And Tracy Jenkins. And I'm going to go on the record right here. This is a serious question I got from Mr. Wells, and I might need Miss Pearson to help out on this here too. The Tuesday that we were supposed to initially record back in the summer, I had jury duty and I missed it. I'm scared y'all gonna lock my ass up.
Really?
Oh,
So on the record, I'm scared. Sheriff, please help me. I don't want to go to jail.
He said it on the record. On the record. Oh, boy. Sheriff Wells, the seat is hot.
I did go to the office. I checked the website. It was
It's hot.
closed.
Oh, man.
This is all you got to do. Right, we got a lot going. Hey, just tell them you felt sick. They'll beg you not to come.
Hey, tell him you had a headache.
Feel sick now.
I got to own the record question for the whole panel. In one word, y'all can say it in one word. Why should the community believe in y'all? Give me one word. Why?
One word.
Future.
Commitment.
Integrity.
Loyalty.
My word was commitment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's big.
It is.
That's big. That's big, fellas.
It is.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, we all about educating, uplifting, and entertain. You know, and I think we got a little bit of everything.
You. Oh, we had anything from the audience?
Yeah. Well, I'm getting to that before I was distracted by the you. All right. So we appreciate our guest panel taking those questions from Truth Be Told. We appreciate that. And as promised, at this time, we will now take a question or two from one of our audience members, team production.
I think we're good. I think we're good.
We're
Pete.
good.
I think we're good.
We're good?
Yeah.
Good.
Absolutely.
We're good in the hood.
Well,
Hey man, I was man. Listen, I enjoyed this.
Me too, man. Really.
hell of
did.
a way to start our season 2.
Yeah, it was big.
This is what we call a bang.
A banger. And this is real talk for the community. We trying to do what we can to make this community better. And it just starts with conversation. And I like what Mr. Wells said earlier in regards to a lot of talk. So it's now time out for the talking and it's starting to take action. So we appreciate you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it, man.
taking
We
your
really
time to come through. And as usual, is this side, it's that side, and then it's us.
Truth be told.
And when you come on Truth Be Told, you're on the what?
On the record.